Toy.
We're wanted men. I have spoken.
All right, so let me try this new opening. Welcome to the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast 97. Hold on. Let me try this again.
This isn't working.
It's not.
already.
It'll work. Give me a minute. It'll work. Welcome to episode 97 of the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars show that dives deep into the collecting galaxy. This is episode for Tuesday, July 12th. I'm Glenn, and with me, as always, is Jason.
Yeah, it doesn't fit you well.
It doesn't. I need to do it better. But
No, I just don't know if that's the right script.
I think I need to not read it
Yeah,
like a news anchor, but I'm
Oh.
also trying to act it up a little bit too.
yeah.
So, how's your week been going, Jason?
Good. Can't complain. How was yours?
Hot.
Yeah.
Still bitching about that damn AC, but hopefully we'll get it fixed in the next couple of weeks because, like everything, it's on back order.
So you don't have any AC?
No, I've got AC.
Just not.
I didn't for a minute because, it's got that cooling fan on top of your unit outside. That cooling
Yeah.
fan had like locked up, so it wasn't doing anything. And I was able to get it fixed or, bang on it with a hammer hard enough to get the fan moving.
Yeah.
And hopefully the guy's like, well, we'll just keep you limping till I can get the AC ordered or get the AC in. I'm like, God, please, sir.
Please.
So thanks, coronavirus.
Rona.
So, yeah, everything's backed up. But we'll get that done, and then I'll have AC, and then we'll get windows. Yay.
Yeah.
Home ownership.
Yeah. We need to clean out our gutters because it's been raining and like it was pouring down the window. And I'm like, that's not good.
No. And then last night, what really stunk is like, as soon as I get everything fixed, we've been getting like some really crazy storms here, like pop-up thunderstorms, which I don't know if it's my power grid or where I'm at, what it is. But like, as soon as a thunderstorm pops up, we lose power. So like the other night, I had everything fixed. It's just starting to cool down. And then boom, we lose power. And same thing happened last night. It's like things just start getting right. And then you lose power for 2 hours and can't sleep worth a damn. And as soon as it's like it teases you. So it cuts back on for like 10 minutes and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to have a good night. And then boom, it's out again for another hour.
My daughter's turning 17 this week. And we were supposed to have a party today. Today we're recording this on Saturday, despite what Glenn just said on being Tuesday, July 12th. We're recording this on Saturday. And we're supposed to have a party for her today. And I was supposed to cut the grass, set up the badminton stuff. It's raining tonight, so it's going to be an indoor party. So I was quickly dusting off the shelves in the Star Wars room because there's going to be like 30 kids in here and they're going to have to go somewhere. So I have to give them tours and they have to do something. So
Right. Oh, your dad's weird.
No, I don't think it's there anymore. I think we've kind of moved past that where it's cool to have this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When we were in high school, we were definitely weirdos.
Yeah.
But now it's like, whoa, this is awesome.
This is all Star. My dad has this stuff hidden in the basement.
Yeah.
In a drawer somewhere. Yeah. I was just talking to Mandy before I came down to record. I'm like, all right, there's 2 weeks to the summer social. It's time. This is our weekend to clean the house because next weekend we got plans. There's all kinds of stuff going on next weekend. So
yeah. I got to clean the garage because I got to bring people through the garage so they don't go trekking through the house.
Right.
The garage is a disaster. I'm still making those name pills. So like one half of the garage is all like a art studio, for lack of a better description right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all over the place. I got to clean that. I still have my screen up, my projector screen. I've got to take that down. You can't watch movies outside in the summer. It's just not comfortable. But I was hoping to keep it up until the winter, to the fall, so we can watch something in the fall maybe. But it's not
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Did you pick anything up this week?
I got what did I get? Oh, shoot. A coin, like it's not a Sigma coin bank, but it's a R2D2 coin bank.
Okay.
It's the same Sigma line, but it's not. It's the same style as Sigma. It may be Sigma. I'd have to go look at it and see what it is. On
Deal or No Deal?
It's similar to the one that's on Deal or No Deal, but my wife found it on Macari.
You were bidding on a couple things on Deal or No Deal. Did you win anything?
Yeah, I did. I won a Hot Wheels. I guess it's a test paint first shot. Nobody really knows. What's it called? Hot Wheels Millennium Falcon. That's like painted blue, and you could tell it's got a drill hole in it, like they were testing the paint or something on it.
Yeah.
We'll see how cool that is. And then I also picked up another Voltron, a sealed like 6-inch Voltron of the cars. Oh. So I've dove down the Voltron rabbit hole.
Yeah, was that a thing when you were growing up?
Yes.
You're a couple years older than me. Like I was into Voltron, but not like that, I guess.
Yeah, I had the car one, and my brother had the Lion one, so we each had one. We were spoiled by my grandfather, so like each year he'd be like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And it would, there was basically no holes barred. So we had like $100 or something to spend, and when you're 12, $100 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we each got Voltrons one year.
Yeah, I mean, I had all the Simpsons. I had superhero stuff. We just got rid of I had a bunch of Marvel stuff that I gave to my son, and we recently just took all that stuff to Second Chance because he was just like, I don't want this anymore. So we got rid of that. Speaking of Second Chance,
yeah,
I went to see Jurassic World on Tuesday, and I get a message as I'm walking into the theater. Hey, Jason, we've got these Super Commando TVC action figures. Some dude brought in like 35 of them. I'm like, what? How is that possible? And so I wasn't able to get there until Thursday, but I was able to pick one up. So
cool.
I love that we have a toy store near our house that will message us when they get something that they know that we want, and they're looking out for us, and they know. So I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah,
even though it's a business and they're trying to make money off of us. With that aside,
they'll hold stuff for us. They don't mind holding stuff for, they'll message. It's been a minute since they messaged me too, but they used to all the time.
I appreciate the service.
Right. They'll hold it for us if they know what it, as long as we're not taking months to get to it. And then we'll go and pick it up. And
yeah. It was cool that they had just like 35 of these Super Commandos, which is not even out yet. I think those are like Hong Kong.
Okay. Were they still in packaging?
Yeah, they're still in package. And most of them were in good condition. I got the best of the ones that they had left.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I just found that bank on Deal or No Deal. It's a Roman ceramic bank.
Okay.
And it came with the box, and she got a pretty decent deal on it shipped. So I think it was either this one or because they made a cookie jar, and it was inspired by the unproduced Rumpf mug, because they were going to do an R2D2 mug, and they never did it. So this is kind of like, no, it was, never mind. It was the one in the 90s, I think. It was either this one or they did one in the 90s that was copied off that Rumpf mug. Somebody's yelling at me right now, but I could Google it, but I got other stuff up on my Google.
I got the Retro Collection Mando Series 2.
Uh-huh.
So I've got those shipped from Hasbro Pulse. Oh, I'll get to this in a second. And then, so again, today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday, and I should be getting my first Micro Galaxy Squadron. I'm so excited about this. The X-Wing is coming.
You're more excited than I am, but I'm pretty hyped to see this thing.
Yeah. It'll be available tomorrow. I went to Walmart this morning to try to find the Imperial Troop Transport, which is available. It's a Walmart exclusive. It's been found in Alabama, which is right next to Georgia. It's been found in Tennessee, which is just north of Georgia. I don't think it's been found in Florida. No one in our group, our Georgia group, seems to have found one in Walmart yet. So I'm on the hunt for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to like a wave 2 of that, because they're supposed to, like I said, they're doing a Sabine, or it's supposed to be doing a Sabine TIE fighter. Which
they are, but that's a chase.
Yeah, it'll be like 500 or five. Is it 500 or 5,000?
5,000.
Oh, and I also I opened all my retro line that I had. The retro figures, the
Yeah, which
Mandalorian,
ones?
the two Mandalorian, the Dark Trooper, Ahsoka, and Baby Yoda, and the Boba
Okay.
Fett, Dad Bad Boba Fett,
Okay.
and
The
yeah,
yeah, I just got Dad Bob Boba Fett is the one I just got.
yeah. But I opened them all because
Well,
am I ruining your bit?
are you looking for a reaction? Is that what you're looking for? Oh, don't do that.
My wife sent me a picture of all the packaging sitting by the garbage can. She's like, "This would really hurt Jason's feelings."
Yeah, I just got a shipment from Hasbro.
Yeah, what you get?
9:30 this morning. I'm opening it right now.
Ah, is it packaged nice?
Oh, that's cool. Oh wow, it's unpunched. It's the Republic Trooper.
Oh, nice.
This came out late in the line, and they reissued it, but it's unpunched, which is awesome. I'm very excited about that. So, yeah, it's a good looking figure, and it's like a 10-year trip to try to find this thing. 10-year journey.
Is it one they re-released?
Yeah, it's a re-release. It was very expensive, so awesome. That's a cool way to start my day.
Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. Sorry, it's like that's what she said. I got to do that too. When everything is awesome, said you got to sing it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I got. Star Wars. No, it wasn't even just toy wise. Yeah.
I do a quick Cantina print update. I've finished printing the dispensary, the area where they dispense with the drinks. I have about 80% of the bar printed. It's a U-shaped bar. So I'm printing the last piece now as we speak, and I have like 75% of it glued. This thing is huge. It is so much bigger than I thought it would be. I am so bad trying to envision scale like this, because not only am I printing the what? Is that what she said?
That's what she said.
Okay. I'm printing out 3 alcoves, so those are going to be huge. And
so you're doing like the whole thing. You're not just
I'm doing half of it.
Okay.
So I bought the file. The file again was 3.75 scale. I had to figure out how to scale it up to 6-inch, which I was able to do. And then it's basically, if you're standing on the stairs looking at the bar itself, it's like the left-hand side of the bar. But the Cantina band is on the right hand. So I had to take the 3 alcoves, flip them, and get them ready for printing. So I've done all that. So those are after I finish with the bar and like part of the back wall, I'll be printing the alcoves and get those ready for the Cantina band. But looking through what I have right now, it's pretty sparse. There's like there's very little Cantina stuff available in Black Series. I'm like, what did I think about? It's going to be like an empty bar.
Right.
And I'm going through like lists. Like yesterday, I found a list online. It was in German of all the characters that were in the Cantina. And I didn't realize when I was looking at it that it was German. I just saw a photo of all these different characters. So then I spent some time trying to decipher what they're trying to say here. And I was like, oh, there's actually 2 Greedos, but they just reused the costume in the holiday special. But then I found out that there is another Greedo. There's another, there's Greedo 1, and then there's, I'm looking at a database right now. Where is it?
Is there one with high heels and one without high heels?
No. Nesh. Neesh. AK Martian number 2, not Greedo. Greedo stands at the right of the Cantina until he crosses over to confront Han. So I'm like, I have that Kenner version of Greedo in Black Series scale, which is like all green. It looks like the Kenner action figure without the vest. So I could put that in the bar and then get a Greedo and put that there. And people are like, why do you have 2 Greedos? Well, actually, there's 2 Greedos in the bar.
That's when you're like, let me tell you about my Star Wars focus.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Now I'm trying to do my best comic book man, but it's not coming through very well.
But it's crazy the number of characters and creatures that are in this Cantina that you never even noticed. They're taking screen grabs. Like there's one character they've named Fu Manchu.
Does he have a Fu Manchu?
Yeah, he does. But like, and I'm thinking, can I custom some of these, because there are the creatures that look like Cad Bane,
Right.
Banis Keg, and I forget what the other one was. They should be Elors Matic. They should be together on this. Maybe they did it alphabetically, but and then there's a couple. They just reused costumes from like Lost in Space. So I'm like, can I find a Lost in Space 6-inch figure? But those aren't available. Not like the Hasbro stuff. They're like more Mego. Is it Mego?
Yes.
So they've got like the cloth stuff and not exactly 6-inch scale. So I just need Hasbro to make more of these.
Right.
Especially the creatures. Like,
well, dude, I don't know if we're ever going to get anything more from Hasbro. But anyway.
Why do you say that? That's pretty dark.
Star Wars keeps failing. Or HasLab, sorry.
HasLab is not Star Wars.
Not Hasbro.
HasLab is not reflective of Star Wars. They're not giving people what they want.
No.
We don't need to rehash this, but yeah, it's not going to
go. Speaking of which, that hiss just keeps going and going and going.
Larry?
Anyway. Oh, I was going to say something. Do you go to the Walmart on Bell's Ferry? Or you went to one Chastain?
Chastain Meadows.
Okay, yeah, because that one had a bunch of the one on Bell's Ferry it wasn't Star Wars toys, but they had a lot of Miko. When you said Miko, they had a lot of stuff like that on clearance in their clearance section.
Yeah.
And I did see some of the like you were saying, the Thor stuff was already on markdown. That with the plastic free stuff.
Yeah.
I saw some of that yesterday at Target.
Oh, there's a Jawa in the bar?
Well, they weren't on Tatooine. Yeah, there was, because it was the Batwing guy, the little bitty short guy that they handed.
Kabe.
Sure.
Right? Kabe? You're talking about the little one that squeaks when he's reaching for the cup?
Yes.
It says Kabe, aka the bat.
Okay.
But Het Nikik is what they're labeling the Jawa.
Uh-huh.
So I got to grab that.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
I got to get a Jawa. I wonder if they Second Chance has any open 6-inch Jawas.
They probably do. If not, they'll open one for you. Probably not. Arriving tomorrow by 10 p.m.
Snaggletooth would be nice. There's 2 Snaggletooths.
Is there a blue one and a red one?
Is there though? Because they label it like Tequil, aka Snaggletooth #1, stands at the bar and sits at the left side of the cantina, and then they have Zutton, aka Snaggletooth #2, sits at the back right of the cantina. But they're both wearing the same thing. How do we not know that they didn't shift from one section to the other while the camera was doing other things with Luke and Ben?
That's what I would assume.
But same thing with the Greedo situation, where I just said like there was another Greedo, Niche, aka Martian #2, not Greedo. Greedo stands at the right of the cantina until he crosses over to confront Han. I don't know. Look, they need to make Muftak, the big white dude with 4 eyes. They need to make Hammerhead. They need to make Snaggletooth. Like at the bare minimum, if they're making the Cantina band, let's keep this up.
Right. But then did they not do a 6-inch Hammerhead?
Well, the dude that was doing the illustrations for all the red box version of the Cantina published on his Instagram a sketch similar to how he did everything else in that Black Series line of Hammerhead. And it was like a pretty well drawn out, well detailed, good to go, camera ready version of Hammerhead, kind of holding his gun and looking down. It was like pretty badass. And everyone got excited, and he had to pull it because it got people upset. It probably got Hasbro upset too, because then people were expecting Hammerhead.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, let's get going here, Hasbro, with all these Cantina creatures in 6-inch. It's readily available, like everything except for the humans. Boshek being the outlier. Most of the humans are not made in the Cantina 3.75, just because they didn't get, like we mentioned before, signatures for face rights in these characters.
Right. Since you said humans, I've heard complaints that like Kenobi it was too many humans in Kenobi. They didn't have enough creatures. Did you kind of feel that way? Or do you think it was
I'm gonna have to say no because I didn't think about that until now. Looking back on it, I'm gonna rewatch it at some point, and maybe that's something that I should take in account. But no, I mean, compared to like what we just saw, the Book of Boba Fett, there's tons of creatures there, so maybe this is a way to cut back on the budget. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Ewan McGregor took too much of the budget.
Maybe it's quite possible, but yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
it's very disappointing.
Yeah, awesome.
But speaking
yes.
of Kenobi, real quick, the Stuart Beattie, who wrote the screenplay for Obi-Wan that would have been a movie, recently said that in his version of the movie, I'm stalling to try to find the exact quote, he nearly saw Darth Vader take a shot at the Emperor for failing to defeat Yoda. He said, I had this really funny line. It was Vader saying, "Look, Kenobi is one of the two biggest threats in the galaxy." And the Emperor responds, "Pity you didn't kill him when you had the chance." And Vader responds, "The other one is Yoda." And the Emperor just gets really pissed off at him. You forget your place is what the Emperor says. And then the Emperor says, "Let this go. That's Anakin. You're Darth now."
Huh.
But it would have been funny to see a shot like that for Vader to stand up to the Emperor, because that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to take over as the master at some point and overthrow the Emperor, but Vader doesn't do that.
Right. I also heard that the three movies, or the trilogy movies that we were supposed to get of Obi-Wan Kenobi, like this season was the first movie. If you look at them as movies, this season would have been the first movie.
So the movie would start with Leia getting kidnapped. He would go try to find Leia, and then Leia gets re-kidnapped. That's the end of Act 2. And then Act 3 would be Vader and Kenobi facing off again.
Right.
That's that. I don't know. I kind of thought maybe that the whole thing would have been 3 movies split up into 6 hours.
It would have had to been way faster. I think if they would have done that, if that would have been 3 movies, it would have had to be way faster. It moved too slow for that to fit into 3 movies. Cause it just, I would expect it more cause I'd be upset if that was 3 movies. Cause that would be really boring.
Yeah, season 2, like I mentioned before, it'd be really cool to get something like the Mortis trilogy in the Clone Wars, something like trippy and forcey with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon kind of hanging out in the desert, and Obi-Wan's confronting everything that's ever, like he's tripping through the Force or something like that.
Right, and then you can kind of focus on Yuriva, figure out what happens to her, focus on Luke, and then Ben could be doing his, smoking mushrooms or whatever with Qui-Gon.
I have questions, but I'll ask him after the podcast.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear? Now, since we're still talking about news, did you hear Taika Waititi offered Natalie Portman a part in his Star Wars movie?
Yes, I did. And she's like, I was in the prequels. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot about those. Which is crazy. How do you forget that Natalie Portman was in a Star Wars movie?
It could have just been one of those where he's having a conversation with her, and he could have been at a party. I mean, he seems like a cool guy who would forget something. Who could, in the heat of a moment, just totally forget that she was in a movie, and now it gets blown up. Because I've heard of musicians where they're at a party and they're like, "That's a cool song," and it's their song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you don't hear it. It's sort of in the background somewhere, and all you do is hear the bass line or you hear the drums, and you're like, what is this? And then you realize it's something you wrote.
I don't watch the Kelly Clarkson show, but I did see one clip where Kelly Clarkson was doing this like song off challenge with Anne Hathaway. Where like the band would start playing a song, and then the challenge was to step up to like this platform and be the first to sing the song. And they started playing Since You Were Gone, or Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. And she didn't know the song. Anne Hathaway just stepped up and started singing "Since You've Been Gone," and it was just like, how does Kelly Clarkson not know that's her song? But like what you're saying, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah, you just don't. I think you're just not in the right mind space, and you're not thinking about it.
Here's the thing: we started out friends. It was cool. It was all pretend. Since You've Been Gone.
Yes,
Anyway.
I remember. Yeah. That's actually not a bad song.
It's not. It's a really good pop song.
Right. It's sad when you like are a metalhead and you're like, that's a good pop song. And you're like, I shouldn't like this song, but
there's a reason why it was number one. I did not think when I would wake up this morning that I'd be on this podcast defending Since You've Been Gone as a good pop song. So we're just going to move along.
How many times is it going to play tonight at your house?
I would suspect that my daughter wants this to be a Mamma Mia party. So I'm probably going to have to be listening to ABBA over and over again.
Mamma Mia.
So if you want to come over and do some dental work, I think I'd be more pleased with amateur dental work than listening to ABBA for 4 hours straight.
Oh, and since you mentioned ABBA and
is it
disco,
ABBA or ABBA?
ABBA. I don't know. I think it's ABBA. I don't know.
I think it's shit.
Oh my God. The Guidestones, dude. The Georgia Guidestones, them like blowing it up. But did you, I mean, that's a whole nother thing.
Yes.
I've been to them. It's kind of like they're out in the middle of nowhere and you drive 2 hours and you're like, this is cool. But after 5 minutes, I'm ready to go.
Yes.
You know, after like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, you're like, I can't believe I drove 2 hours for this. And then you're ready to leave. Yeah. But did you see the time, is
that true? Or is that like an internet hoax? Quaaludes?
Quaaludes, yeah.
As a time capsule?
In the time capsule. I don't know if it's a hoax or not. I know there was a time capsule in under there.
Because
a Playboy, Quaaludes. Yes.
Let's go down the rabbit hole for just 5 minutes. All right.
Okay,
just
let's go.
humor
let's
me.
Go. Yes.
Like,
well, I know you're into weird shit, and this is Georgia shit.
This is Georgia weird. Yes, I'm into this stuff, but I like try to keep my head above the conspiracy water, and this would be one that I would keep anyways. If you follow what's going on, like take a step back, Jason. You could do your research and figure out who built these things. You could figure out the intent was 40 years ago when we were on the brink of nuclear war. This guy went out to the middle of nowhere and set up these guide zones with like 8 different commandments on what to do to rebuild civilization. But people think that's satanic because the first thing is live in harmony and keep like 500 million people on the planet Earth.
Right.
Planet Earth. Like depending on how you look at that could be pretty grim. Like, what are we supposed to do? Kill people as you get past that? Like, whatever. But anyways, people felt it was satanic and they blew it up. But the intent was not, I think the intent was not to be satanic. It was just supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to do after nuclear holocaust.
Right.
However, you put in a time capsule with Quaaludes, a Playboy signed by Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
Saturday Night Fever 8-track. I mean, after a nuclear holocaust, you're not going to be able to listen to that. And what was a Peterbilt sign?
Yeah, Peterbilt sign.
So you just is it all just a practical joke on humanity?
I don't know. And then somebody was saying that it was really weird that there was no footage of them opening up the time capsule.
Yeah, it's got to be a hoax. The whole thing has to be a hoax. It's a conspiracy within conspiracy. Or
maybe it was all planned in 40 years. They'd be blown up. And
I'm writing a book right now about a UFO that crashes to Earth. It's like a sci-fi, but it's like a kiddie book. Anyways, so I've been trying to watch a lot of UFO shows.
Uh-huh.
You want to talk conspiracy? There's a conspiracy that the U.S. government.
Go for it, man. I love, UFOs.
There's a conspiracy that the U.S. government is trying to convince people, us, that aliens are evil and they're here to attack Earth. And that they're not really here to attack Earth. They're here to kind of help us evolve into the next stage of civilization.
Right.
You get those two theories out there, that there's some sort of like government, the war machine just wants to mass produce things, and we need to be prepared for the aliens and all that stuff. So I was been watching this show called UFO Witness.
Uh-huh.
And the first season, it's just this guy going out and be like, what's going on out there? Let's go talk to people. What did you see? What did you see? And the second season did an about face where every witness they talk to, there's a threat level between like green and red. So it's like imminent danger based on what their testimony is. And then the voiceover at the start and the end of the thing is like they're attacking Earth, and then like they'll put little dots on the map to show where sightings have been, and it's like, are they planting flags for invasion? And I'm like, where is this talk coming from? If you want to listen to some of these conspiracy theories that the government's doing a cover up or some sort of conspiracy to fool us into thinking that the aliens are bad, this show is kind of supporting that.
Right.
From A to B. Anyways, can we get back to Star Wars?
Well, no, this is connected to Star Wars because there's aliens in Star Wars, and we're talking Star Wars, we're talking aliens, and they come from the stars, and it's a war, and they're all mixed together, man.
Yeah. I feel crazy now. It was just weird to go from season 1 to season 2 and to see that language kind of change. I'm like, what happened to the show?
Right.
Anyways.
Did it have the guy with the really messed up hair?
No, not that one.
Okay.
There's like a former FBI agent who claims that his grandfather was at Wright-Patterson when the Roswell wreckage came in through there.
See, I still
allegedly.
I still want to go to Roswell, New Mexico. That's like but not like a bucket list trip for me, just to see it. But I've heard it's not any fun
there. Yeah, there's nothing there. I haven't been there, but there's nothing there.
Yeah. Apparently, if you just want to see like some murals with aliens on it, that's where you go.
Anyways, if you want to know why the listenership is dipping, this is the reason why. Let's get back to Star Wars.
Star Wars? What's that?
We were going to talk video games today.
Yeah, let's talk video games.
You can cover the console. I'll cover console. You cover arcade.
Yes.
Because you were there. But do you remember your first experience with the Star Wars video game?
Yeah, it was the line, the 8. I don't even know if you could call it 8-bit. It was the old school
Vector graphics.
Okay. Yeah, the Star Wars playing that in an arcade and like burning a lot of quarters and trying to figure that thing out. I miss the arcade experience because Dave and Buster's is just not, it's not an arcade. You don't grow up with that. When you go to the mall and your parents give you like $5 or not even $5, they give you like 2 or 3, and you got to make that money last. And you just go hang out in the arcade. You get your quarters and you pick what video game you're going to play. And it was like, that was the Star Wars game was like the one I always gravitated to play.
Yeah. I remember playing that like in an old Chuck E. Cheese, that Star Wars arcade game. But I don't remember playing any other Star Wars games. I'm sure there was some out there.
Yeah, they had that one, and then they had like an Empire Strikes Back version. I think they threw some AT-ATs or something in it.
And there was a Return of the Jedi with speeder bikes, right?
Yeah, yep. But that was like the old school video games.
Yeah.
So, but the original one was always the best. I know they redid them in for Level Up, redid them or 1-Up. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off on not a tangent, but when they say 1-Up, when they call those video games 1-Up,
yeah,
there's a company here that makes pillows, adult themed pillows, and they're also called 1-Up. And so when I hear 1-Up, I think of the adult pillows, like for put yourself in certain positions for certain adult activities.
I think video games, man.
So I think of that place. But anyway, so they did the video game console, and I tried getting one, but they were like $500, and then apparently Walmart marked them down to $50, and you can never find them again.
Yeah,
but that was pretty
cool.
Getting
one as well.
Yeah, and I kept going. I think I saw like a Pac-Man or something, one that I wasn't interested in. I saw that one marked down pretty decent, but I didn't want it, so I didn't buy it. Yeah, they did that, and then they did like when the prequel trilogy came out, they did a pod racing game, which I played it once or twice, but I wasn't into pod racing. I think my son played it more because it was, you're sitting in a pod racer, riding it like a banta.
Yep. Like a banta.
Like a banta. That was, and then like they did a trilogy arcade that had you had like a Tron stick in the middle of it. and it was like a first person fighter type thing. And you had to like actually fight Darth Vader with this stick that you controlled your lightsaber. And I think that was just a quarter burner, you know?
Uh-huh. Most of them were.
Yeah. And then like 5-6 years ago, they did what they call a battle pod, which was another,
Were incredible.
Yeah. That was amazing because you're in like this 360 pod.
Yeah. You're in a bubble with like a wide screen in front of you. A joystick. The doors closed, so you're kind of isolated from the world, and you could do missions, and you can you felt like you were in the jungle of Endor or the forest of Endor. You felt like you were flying above the Death Star, and you could hear sounds behind you, around you.
It's the forest moon of Endor, not Endor, Jason.
I say
you said moon. Never mind.
You said jungle at first, and I corrected myself.
And you said forest. Whatever. Yeah, that was like it was another quarter burner game because it just felt like you were just feeding money into it to, you got to a certain point and you just had to feed more money. But that was probably the coolest of the bunch.
Yeah, that was a $40,000 game, by the way.
Was it really?
Yeah, I looked it up and was like, is that something I could ever afford? The answer is no.
No. I had a buddy of mine when the 1-Ups came out. He was the guy you met, the guy we had pizza with. I was like, yeah, I can buy this game for like $500. He goes, well, but you could probably find the original one for like 15. And I'm like, yeah, I don't. 500's a lot better.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's got a couple of video games in his house and they're having issues with them. And I'm like, I just want to play, man.
Yeah, they get old.
Yeah. Why are you going to put this old technology in your house and then not use it? I know they do make like a console that people have customized that have like 150 games on them.
Yeah.
And that would be something cool, but I don't have the room for that. I've got an old slot machine and that's about all the room I got.
I remember the first video game I remember playing, my friend had an Atari and he had the Empire Strikes Back, but it's been years since I've played this game, maybe like 35 years or so, maybe more. And I just remember not liking it. I felt like it was too difficult.
They did make it pretty difficult.
And I remember being like, why am I shooting this thing? I need to like wrap around it. I don't remember if you could do that or not. But yeah. And it was like, this is it? You just fly a snowspeeder?
Because I think it was a side scroller. I think I remember looking up a Blockbuster video. Yes, we're that old. And finding that game and like having to travel like 20 minutes to get it so that I can play it.
Yeah.
And yeah, by the time you get it, and it's the same thing, it's a side scroller and it sucked.
Yep. And then you would get to the next game I remember after that on console was Super Star Wars.
Yeah.
Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, and Super Return of the Jedi.
For the Super Nintendo.
For the Super Nintendo. They're very clever with their naming conventions. Right. And I just remember how impossible it was. Like you would be on Tatooine with your lightsaber, and you would get to the part with the sandcrawler. I've mentioned this before, and you're like, why am I climbing the sandcrawler? This was not in the movie. Why am I running through the desert fighting womp rats, and I think there were Minox or some flying creature. It's like this. It was very difficult.
There were Minox in the desert?
There was some flying creature. Okay. I don't know if it was Minox. Maybe I'm thinking Super Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back. I did like the graphics, like the cartoony graphics, and when you'd fling the lightsaber, you would get that trail behind it. Like those things were cool, but the difficulty level, and like I've mentioned before, the Super Star Wars jumping up the side of the sandcrawler, I think was the inspiration for that scene in The Mandalorian when Mando's climbing up the side of the sandcrawler.
Right, because why would? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why they did it, Jason. So yeah, 40 years later.
But then even before that, I should step back to 1995 with Dark Forces, which was a seminal game. Because back then you had Duke Nukem, you had Wolfenstein, where you would do all these, you were like first person shooters and you were going through buildings and stuff, and the walls were in 3D. It was pretty geometrical squares, like the walls were just really flat squares, and you would turn the corner and it was a sharp 90-degree corner to another wall. And Star Wars kind of jumped off of that and made Dark Forces, where you played as Kyle Katarn. And I remember fighting the Dianoga monster in that. Yeah, he was in there.
Huh.
There's a section where you're on some sort of Imperial base, and there was water, and you would just see this eye pop up, and then there was all these tentacles underneath it. The Dianoga monster was there.
I wonder if I played that. I remember because I was late to the game on computers, because back in the day it wasn't like it is now where you have a computer in your pocket. In the late 80s, early 90s, it was a big deal to have a home computer. Actually, the early 90s, it was a big deal to have a home computer. And then but when I went to work at a photo lab in like the late 90s, like early 2000s, and I remember playing like the Duke Nukems and stuff, because he's like, there's nothing to do, play video games. Basically. And he'd, because he'd bring the computer in, and we'd have some, I'd have a day where I'd just play video games all day, because there was nobody was there. Nobody bring film in to develop. But I think I vaguely remember playing, maybe, but I don't know if it was Star Wars, but I remember the eye popping up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then there was the sequel, Dark Forces 2.
Uh-huh.
And you were the same character, because at first I didn't think we were the same character, because suddenly the character Kyle Katarn had a lightsaber. That was back in the day where they actually filmed people as cutscenes. They didn't animate things. They would hire actors to play Kyle Katarn, and you would see like a scene from a movie, and there was some cool animation where you were like, I think it was Coruscant, and the camera was flying between buildings, like really cool animation. And then they would cut to actors portraying Kyle Katarn, and they would set up the mission and the board, and then you would jump into it. You would have your lightsaber, and you have to infiltrate, the Imperials and stuff like that. But that was pretty cool. And then there was Jedi Knight. So that was Star Wars Dark Forces was the first one. Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, which was the one where you were Kyle with the lightsaber. And then there was Star Wars Jedi Knight 2. So you went from Star Wars Dark Forces, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, to Star Wars Jedi Knight 2. And that was really cool, because it was, again, the sequel, but you could pick at one point if you wanted to be dark side or light side.
There was a lot of games like that back in the day. And it was a totally different experience.
Yeah. But this was the first Star Wars game that I knew of where there was like a branch point, and you would be able, if you picked the light side, you would get normal force powers, and if you picked the dark side, you could get like electricity and stuff like that, choking abilities.
Awesome.
I never got into the Rebel Assault and the TIE Fighter games, because I just don't like this. Like, there's the game now. What was it? Squadrons?
Yeah.
Like I can't get into it.
I get into it, but I get my butt kicked. And you've got to pick what you want,
Yeah.
It was fun. I enjoyed playing it, but what I don't like about that game, if we're going to jump ahead, but then we can jump back.
Yeah, we'll go jump back.
Is when you got locked into it, it could be a half an hour to an hour that you're sit there in one game. And I can't do that. Give me like a good 10, 15 minute. Let me jump in, play for 10, 15 minutes, and let me jump out. Because if I got to sit there and play for a half an hour, I get bored.
Yeah.
Because you're on the same mission, and but yeah, I hate playing those type of games, the first person shooter, because it's the same thing as like a Call of Duty or whatever. And when you're starting off learning that stuff, you always have the one guy that's played it for, 24 hours straight when the game first came out and leveled up, and he's kicking everybody's butt. And it does make those games fun. But
no. Back
to TIE Fighter and X-Wing and all that stuff.
Yeah, I just never got into it. I had friends who had those games. I just, like I said, never got into it. The first Star Wars game that I truly loved with a passion to say it's one of my favorite Star Wars games is Shadows of the Empire for 64. Did you ever play that?
No, I never played it.
It was a launch title, and you would start the game on Hoth, and you were in a snow speeder, and you were taking down Imperial walkers And it was all in 3D. It was not like the Atari side scroller. It was like, if you want to fly over there, you can. But then if you want to fly back into battle, you can. And it was a really cool 3D game. Looking back, it's very poly. What do they call it? Someone's yelling at me. Where you could see that the face is like flat, like, and then the nose pops out from the face. Like, it was very poly and low tech, but
like Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but it was like the first time where it was like a true 3D Star Wars game that I was playing, and I'm like, this is incredible.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you fight Boba Fett. You'd fight Bosk and IG-88. There was a train sequence where you're on a train you're playing, and you were kind of fighting on a train that was moving. I love Shadows of the Empire, as probably has come across on this podcast and previous episodes.
No, I had no clue you liked Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah. And then Phantom Menace time came around, and there was tons of Phantom Menace games. There was episode 1, The Phantom Menace. There was episode 1, Racer. Did you ever play that?
No. I'm probably jumping ahead, but the one I remember was like the Mortal Kombat fighting game.
The Terrace Kasi?
Yeah.
I think that was for Sega.
No, they had it for PlayStation. So I had a PlayStation.
Then before that, there was the Terrace Kasi game, but that came out. It's got to be here. It was around this time. Wasn't it? Attack of the Clones time? Maybe we'll get to it. Maybe I'll find it. But yeah. There was also Rogue Squadron that came out for 64, which was cool. And you could put in the cheat code chicken.
Uh-huh.
And then you would just be a chicken walker, an ATST, just walking around like a desert area. And that's all it was. Like, you can't play as a ATST in the game, but if you type in that chicken code, you could play as a chicken walker.
Huh. Could you destroy stuff too?
I don't think there was anything to destroy. I think you were just walking around and you're like, okay, let's play the game.
Sort of like God mode.
Yeah, it's a sandbox, but without having anything to do.
All right.
But for episode 1 Racer, you were pod racing, which was cool. It was just like a regular racing game. But there was a cheat code where you could put in the cheat code, and you would take 2 controllers and you would control the pod like you were Anakin. Like, if you push forward on the left, you're going to turn right. If you push forward on the right, you're going to turn left. And if you want to go really fast, you push both of them forward at the same time, and you would go forward. It was a really cool way to play the game, and it completely changes the way that you play.
Right.
Because instead of one controller just moving left and right, you have to think differently, because if I push back and pull forward, it was cool.
Yeah, that still amazes me when I'm playing football and my controller vibrates. I know that technology's been around forever, but it's still like, oh yeah, I have a vibrating controller.
Yeah. Let's see. There's Jedi Power Battles, Battle for Naboo, Obi-Wan's Adventure, Starfighter, Obi-Wan for the Xbox. I never played those games. Attack of the Clones, there's Jedi Starfighter, The Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, the actual video game, The New Droid Army, and then there was Revenge of the Sith. All those were available pretty much on the major consoles. There's a couple where it's like Obi-Wan was only available on the Xbox at first, and then it was available on Game Boy Color, or it's Obi-Wan's Adventure. So I guess it's a completely different game.
Oh, but Game Boy Color, the Game Boy.
The Game Boy, yeah.
My daughter's got an OG Game Boy. I got to find. I don't know where she put it, because I'm like, it's probably packed up somewhere, but I'm like, that thing's worth some money because it has the old school carrying case and a few games on it. And I'm like, I know it works, but hopefully the batteries hadn't killed it yet. Man.
How many video games started with the run on the Death Star, the trench run? It's like almost all of those flying games start that way.
Right.
I don't know.
Somebody was saying that Maverick, the new Top Gun, was basically a Star Wars movie.
I need to see it then.
Because they said that there was like a trench run or something where it was basically it's like Star Wars, but with fighter jets.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I love when I take you out of your headspace, man, because you're just like, what the fuck, Glenn?
That's not where my mind's going at all. I'm trying to envision Top Gun as a Star Wars movie. And it's like Maverick Han Solo. That's where my
Right.
mind's going. I guess I
Right.
should speak out loud instead of speak in my head.
Well, that's all right because you'll say something and I nod. Like people see me nodding. I need to be
Yeah.
more vocal about it.
Right.
But yeah, they were saying. But there's also like a 1950s movie that I've seen split screen between
Yes.
it and Star Wars, and it's
Yeah.
the same movie.
Yeah, he used a lot of World War II footage to kind of use as an animatic. So
Well,
that would
no,
make
I'm
sense.
like the words and everything. It's almost like the final dogfight is
Oh,
almost
really?
identical.
Especially the part where they blow up the planet.
Yes, or they blow up. They're fighting like a some kind of base, like a floating base or something.
Yeah. Did you ever get into the Knights of the Old Republic?
No,
Well,
no.
you said that. No. Hell no, man. What are you talking? You know who you're talking to? No.
Hold on, I'm looking up that movie. But anyway, during a lot of this time, I was like raising kids because I started out way too young. And yeah, I didn't have a lot of time for video games.
Yeah.
Or, huh?
Well, I never got into Knights of the Old Republic.
Right.
Those were like those point-based games where if you get hit, you lose like 30 points, and then you still had 1,000 points. I never got into these
like a role playing
RPG.
game. Yeah. No, when I play a video game, I don't like playing. I mean, I like being in and out. If like I'm into like Madden, where I know I'm going to play for a half an hour and I'm going to complete what I need in that half an hour. I hate like Red Dead Redemption, where you spend the half an hour and all you're doing is walking, and then when you save it, you got to start that half an hour all over again. Same thing with Vice City. I mean, I enjoyed Vice City, but it just, the open world games I'm not a fan of. I dug Jedi Fallen Order, and then there was one that was very similar to it.
Battlefront 2 had a first person.
Battlefront was decent. I liked Battlefront because there again, you suck because you have the one guy that's busting ass to get all the level up, but you were able to play it in 10 or 15 minutes,
Yes.
play a game. What was the other one with the guy that was basically, I don't know if he was a clone or not, but he had the two lights, Starkiller in it.
Oh, Force Unleashed.
Yeah, those were awesome. Those two games were because there was Force Unleashed 1 and Force Unleashed 2, and I was like halfway through Force Unleashed 2, and my apartment got broken into, and they stole that game they stole my Xbox with that game in it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my 64 was stolen. We had somebody who, my dad was selling his house and he was having a showing, and they walked out with my 64.
Freaking.
But anywho,
yeah.
Yeah, the original Battlefront games were like that, where you could go in, you could play capture the flag, you could play missions and kind of push in on, if you were the rebel, not the rebels, the separatists, or what do you call the other ones? Galactic Federation.
Yeah, the Trade Federation. See, that's
that's a separatist though.
Oh, I don't know. But I enjoyed those kind of games because, like I said, you can play it. You could set a timer and you just went for it. And Capture the Flag was awesome in the old school video games, man.
But then you get the Battlefront of today, where it's all online play. It's all loot boxes, loot crates. And it's just frustrating because I don't want to play with some 14-year-old. I just want to chill in my house and play single player.
Right.
I mentioned that before, but it's true. Like, I don't want to, I'm home playing video games. I don't want to connect with people.
Right.
Call me old school. I know there's a younger generation, because I asked my son, like, we were talking about Dumb and Dumber the other day, and I'm like, do you see Dumb and Dumber as an old movie? He's like, yeah, of course. That's not his movie. But for me, like, I was 14 when that movie, 14, 15 when that movie came out. That is like a core movie for me. And he sees it as an old movie. So where am I going with this? The way that we play video games, the way I play video games, is the old way where we just popped in, Mario and played by ourselves. And now these kids are all connected and they're playing against each other.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I agree with you because it annoys me, and this is me being old again, that I've got to pay $60 a year to play a video game because you've got to pay to access all that stuff. I mean, I understand there's stuff that it costs money to have that network up, but it's just annoying to me when you go to plug in a video game and it wants to log in and it, take you online. And I'm like, I don't want to go online. I just want to play normal. That's what annoys me about all those video games. Because
I see that meme in our head. Old man yells at clouds.
Yes, exactly. And we are literally yelling at a cloud. But
yeah,
and it's annoying because you get that one guy that like just wants to be an asshole, and he'll play like some loud music, or he's yelling at his kids, or talking to his girlfriend, or, I'm going to kill you mother effers, and, just being a jerk, and it just ruins your experience. But there again, I'm being freaking old. And yes, I know you can mute the guy, but then I got to concentrate away from my butt getting kicked by a 15-year-old to go find this dude and mute him. Man, you damn kids.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. The nice thing about Battlefront 2, and we need to thank John Boyega for this because he complained that there was no first person. They introduced that with Battlefront 2 because of John Boyega saying, "Hey, where's the single player game?" And they added that, which was cool. Where you were
Go ahead.
That's where you were. What's her name? Indra. Mm-hmm. The TIE fighter pilot who defuncts to the rebellion. And that's where you see Operation Cinder for the first time, wasn't it?
I never played probably. Yeah, I think so. But I never played the single player game. I don't know why I didn't. I guess maybe because I know why. In there. I need to. I think I got Battlefront 2 loaded on my PS4. Is it a 4? I don't. Yeah, mine's a 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'm just like, I'm one of those guys where it's like, I bought this game. I didn't buy it to play a first person, a campaign. Right. I bought it to fight people.
Yeah.
And maybe I need to go back and play the campaign.
I bought it because I really liked Capture the Flag. I really missed that element from Battlefront games.
Yeah.
Where you would just go in and you would have all your other members of your army go in and capture the flags. There's Force Unleashed, like you mentioned, which was really cool. However, it just felt like anime to me where, you've got Starkiller bringing down a Star Destroyer using the Force.
Then here again, 40 years later, they did that so Darth Vader could do it in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but Darth Vader was more powerful than, the other guy.
That other Starkiller, I think, was a lot more powerful. Because wasn't it? Then he ended up being a clone or something.
I don't remember, to be honest. It was 2008.
Yeah, I never finished the second one because somebody stole my Xbox. But yes,
I had a baby when that game came out, so I had some downtime. But after that, I never got into Force Unleashed 2, or I had 2 children at that time.
Isn't it amazing how kids really F up your video game play?
Yeah. The only one I really made time for was The Legend of Zelda. I would play other games, but I did get lightsaber duels for the Wii because the Wii had the motion controls, so you were able to use a lightsaber, like, if you really had it in your hand. But I don't remember really liking that game.
It
was like a cheap game that I tried to get to play with my son. He didn't really like it. So there's a bunch of Clone War games. And then you get your Jedi Fallen Order, which is an incredible game, and I'm looking forward to the sequel, which comes out 2023, Jedi Survivor.
Yeah. So it's more of the motion capture stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to play The Void?
Yes, that was incredible. Oh, I didn't even talk about have I told you that Harrison's got the Oculus and we've played Galaxy's Edge. And what was the other one? Vader Immortal.
Okay.
Vader Immortal was incredible. That's like the future of VR right there. Such a fun game. But then you go to, it's the same engine and everything. I would try to play Galaxy's Edge, and I would get motion sickness on that one where I wouldn't with Vader Immortal. But if you have an Oculus, highly recommend the Vader Immortal. You probably can skip the Galaxy's Edge one.
Well, they also do this. You can play Squadrons on the Oculus, on the Oculus or whatever. But I heard
you
that
need a computer.
Oh, okay.
Because my son wants to get a computer so he can play some Spider-Man game on the VR, so he can swing through the cities and stuff.
We're getting ready for Ready Player One, man.
Yeah. So yeah, Shadows of the Empire was 64 Windows. Jedi Arena was Atari. I don't remember that game. Ewoks, Wicket, and the Dandelion Warriors for MSX.
I don't remember that.
I don't either. Star Wars Droids, 1988 for Amstrad, CPC, ZX Spectrum. I don't even know what those systems are. Shadows of the Empire was 64 on Windows. Masters of Terrakasi was PlayStation.
Okay, that must be it.
And that was made canon in Solo because they asked Kira where she learned to fight, and she said something like Terrakasi, which is, she learned that from Darth Maul, who's a master of Terrakasi, or that's his fight style or something like that.
Right. That was just a cool game because but that was back when Mortal Kombat was huge and they bring it to Star Wars.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Force Commander for Windows. Don't remember that. Demolition for PlayStation. Super Bombard Racing for PlayStation 2. Oh, Bounty Hunter. That was a cool game where you played as Jango Fett.
See, I never played that. It's amazing. Like I said, dude, kids really F up your video game time.
That was a cool one where you were Jango Fett and you were doing missions and I think at one point you get into jail and you have to escape. So that was cool. Flight of the Falcon for Game Boy Advance. Never played that one. Republic Commando was also another badass game where you were like a special unit, special forces for the clones, and there was 4 of them, and each one had a special skill. And I think now this is 2005, so this is years ago, almost 20 years ago. So it's been a while since I played it. Apparently it's re-released for the Switch. I should ask my son to download it. But I think you could switch between characters.
Huh. See, I never got into it wasn't a role-playing game. It was a first-person shooter type game.
Yeah. Star Wars Squadrons. We just talked about that. Tales from Galaxy's Edge gives me motion sickness. Hunters and Eclipse. Hunters is like it's a Nintendo Switch. Because there's also like downloadable games. And then you get in your tabletop games, which I don't think we were going to get into, but my family does game night every Sunday night. And my wife thought it would be a good idea to start keeping score as to who wins.
Uh-huh. I'm smiling at that one.
Yeah.
Because that just sounds like a shit ton of trouble.
It is, because I was winning until we started this whole thing of keeping score, and I started losing. And so like my daughter has 4 wins and my wife has 3, and my son and I had nothing, and my youngest daughter had like 1 or 2 wins. And it was just like, this is getting ridiculous. So I need to play clean up here and put myself on the board.
Well, pick some games that you can kick some ass on.
I did. I pulled out Star Wars Trivia Pursuit.
Dude, have you seen somebody has a Trivia Pursuit game piece from like the early 80s or something? And it's like, who has not played Batman? And it's like George Clooney. It's everybody who's played Batman in the last 20 years.
Yeah. One of the questions in the Trivia Pursuit, because it was prequels, this was like right before episode 1, was who was Obi-Wan's master?
Right. It would have been Qui-Gon, but I'm sure it's different.
It's Yoda, because this is prequels.
Oh man!
So I answered Qui-Gon, but in the original trilogy, Obi-Wan says that Yoda was the Jedi Master who instructed him.
Right.
And so it was like this whole thing that I got really mad at that, because that was not a fair question. I did not put myself prequels.
That's what you get for playing old ass Trivia Pursuit, man.
I won. So
yeah, like you did at freaking Downtown Woodstock.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, because that Count Dooku messed me up.
I think my wife thinks that the person who was number 1 right up until the last question was the person right next to the lady who was giving out all the questions.
Uh-huh.
Like he was playing, but he had the questions right next to him. And at the last one, he stopped answering.
Oh.
Because
Well, he never
win.
went to pick his prize up because I was like, I was waiting for him to pick up a prize.
Yeah, that's why, because
showed
he was helped running the show.
Oh, that bastard.
Pinball games, that was, I'm not a pinball guy, but they're out there.
I enjoy pinball, but I'm not good at it.
Kinect motion sensor. Oh my God. Do you want to talk about the worst video game ever?
Yeah, let's do it.
That dancing one.
Oh, the Dance Dance Revolution?
Yeah, but it was all Star Wars.
What?
You haven't seen these?
No.
Come on, man. Hold on. Let me
see. I don't spend a lot of time on the YouTubes. All right. So I do have we got a question, a fan mail I'll get to in a minute.
Oh.
But this kind of pertains to it, but it's like the freaking all these podcasts that are only on YouTube. What's the point in that? I why would I want to spend an hour on my computer? I guess because people watch YouTube on their phones.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. I know that.
Can you share it?
Host disabled screen.
Hold on.
I just want to play the music because it's horrible. People won't be able to see it, but I'm pretty sure most of our listeners at this point know the Kinect Star Wars game, which is, again, the worst game ever developed.
How do I let you do it? Is it? Do I click on participants?
I'm good.
You got it?
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah. Wow. You know how to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, all right. So here is the Kinect I'm Han Solo dancing game. It's got 7.4 million views because people have probably know exactly. Oh, wait, we're gonna have to listen to a commercial.
As governor, I'm going to lift up.
Oh man. Never mind. Thank you for muting that.
We got political.
Sorry, I'm so frustrated with political ads right now.
Yeah.
And it hasn't even started.
I mean, technically it started because we're getting the ads.
Right.
Here we go. So we're on Cloud City. There's a bunch of stormtroopers kind of dabbing.
You think you have what it takes?
That's Lando. Lobot is the DJ.
Oh my goodness.
This was for the Kinect. So Han Solo pops up in the middle of the carbon freeze chamber. Lobot is still dancing in the DJ area. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo.
Wow. I thought these were fake. I didn't realize this was a real video game.
No, you're supposed to dance.
I know what this game is based on because I played. It's on the Wii, right?
No, this is Xbox because it's Kinect because it's watching you do these moves.
Oh,
On the left there, it says the speeder, Falcon and Flight. You're supposed to make these moves with your body and kind of replicate what Han Solo's doing.
Wow. This thing's like really loud. I don't think people will be able to hear us talk over it. But...
You see the lyrics there?
Yeah.
Pain is gone. Cover up my eyes. Jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. It's stupid.
Wow. That was bad, dude. So was that
Apparently we're not done. Okay, we're done.
Was that a real song or was it just written for the
No, that's a real song. Jason Derulo's Riding Solo.
Uh-huh.
And they changed the lyrics, and they did that for I think a couple songs. They would change the lyrics, so it's basically just a Weird Al play, but it was supposed to be serious.
Uh-huh.
And it's the worst game ever developed, in my opinion, for Star Wars.
Yeah. It was one that I think it might have been one where, hey, it's a Star Wars game.
I mean, we haven't even gone into the Lego Star Wars games. There was Angry Birds Star Wars.
Yeah, that's probably the same thing like that, where it's a good franchise. Let's make it. Angry Birds. Yeah, I kind of played that. There again, you get frustrated with it and quit.
Disney Infinity. There's a bunch of Star Wars characters for that, which was fun. I love Disney Infinity. I wish it was surprising that they closed that down because of my son and I had so much fun. There was Minecraft that had a bunch of Star Wars characters, and
Hell, Fortnite's got a bunch of Star Wars skins.
Yeah.
It just depends on what's happening that week.
That's the guy from Fortnite. But yeah, so I'm trying to think what would be my favorite Star Wars video game. I think it would have to be Star Wars Battlefront 2 from back in the 2007-ish era.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm going to pick one, it's the OG, man. It's the freaking OG one.
The vector graphic one, the first one?
Yeah. Yep. Even though I was sucked at it.
Oh, we all sucked at it. The whole point was to pump in more quarters.
Yeah.
I really regret bringing up all that alien talk.
You're fine, dude. You're fine. We can go off script. It's okay, Jason.
I don't like it.
We went off script for just a few minutes. It's okay.
So to sum up video games, they're really cool and I enjoy them.
I love a good video game.
I very, 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 very like video games.
Throwback to school where you had to do a 100-word essay. And you would just like
I'm glad you got
words.
that reference.
Hey, dude, we all did it. I had to write a report one time and I was not prepared for it. I wrote a report on like a car magazine or something, car book. And I was like, it shows you all the parts of the car. And I listed like 100 of them.
Yeah.
I made a B on the project. They totally knew what I was doing, but it was great.
Yeah.
Have you seen Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Have you seen, I mean, I don't know how, I don't want to get really into it, but I think it's funny how people are like pissing on that guy's solo, that the freaking guitar solo.
Metallica?
Sorry, hold on. Yes, the Metallica. We're going to, if you haven't, fast forward like a couple of minutes because we're going to talk Stranger Things for a second.
Did you get the Star Wars reference in it?
Which one, in that solo part?
No, not that one. There was a major Star Wars reference.
There was a lot of Star Wars references, but which one was it?
Yeah, I guess. The one that I'm talking about is the guy that said I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, yeah, I caught that.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
I was like, really, guys, that's a softball. But yeah, like Metallica, all the fans are like bitching at the guy. He's like, there's no way he learned that solo. And was like, I took it as, you know, because they played it and he kind of starts it off and then all of a sudden the song kicks in and I'm like, he could be playing a crappy solo and then the song kicks in. It's movie magic, guys. Come on. But
yeah, the whole point was to, like, I just assumed he knew how to play that. I mean,
right.
That's Metallica. Metallica was huge in the 80s and
they were huge in the 90s too.
Yeah. So
but it was just a cool moment and people need to stop being assholes.
I wanted to make like a button for the summer social that said the Kennesaw run for that day that we do.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't want to order 10. The option was 10 buttons or 50 buttons. And I'm like, I need more than 10, but I need less than 50. So I haven't ordered anything. So I got to figure out something to do for that.
Yeah, I need to do something with I had our buddy George Beza make me a Wampa caricature. And it turned out really awesome, but I got to figure out something to do with it because I need to get a logo or something designed. First, I need to name my collection. Then I need to do a logo because it's like it looks really cool, but the Wampa is just like this big white furry thing. So there's like a big voided space where you could do something really awesome, like put a logo there and not lose any of the picture. So I need to come up with something like that. But anyway.
Oh man, I gotta think this. And then the other thing that I wanted to quickly mention, Orion just posted in the ice cream group what the title of the next ice cream project should be. Wilbur Hood's Bespin Finest Ice Cream, same as before, which the OCD part of me says, yeah, this should all be the same. There's Wilbur Hood's Navarro's Finest Ice Cream, which is going to be Mandalorian themed. So I like that we've just removed Bespin and added Navarro.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the other one, Beskar Robbins instead of Baskin Robbins, Mando's Finest Ice Cream.
No, I
like the Wilbur Hood.
The Wilbur Hood needs to why? And then we got to vote on this because now Beskar Robbins is winning. So
I did Wilbur Hood's Navarro's Finest Ice Cream. I'm the only one right now, which is fine. But
I think we need to like divide and conquer because if you vote on that, you need to pick the lesser of two evils. So I'm going to devote. There we go. Well, it took some of it away. I devoted on Wilbur Hood. But I think Robo Hood needs to stay our character. Our brand needs to be real Will Row Hood, and then we can do whatever else we wanted after Real Row Hood. But he's our mascot, and he needs to stay our mascot. Because
I agree.
Just like the Twin Sons Brewing, it's always Twin Sons Brewing, no matter what they do.
Yep.
And yeah.
100% agree. It's just like when Bill Cable makes his droid figures, they're all droids.
Right.
So I like the consistency, but that just might be my personal preference. I would vote for Navarro, Wilro Hood's Navarro's Finest any day.
Well, then let me vote. Let's see what happens if dude, you can vote on all three.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah.
I'm Han Solo.
Great. All right. So we got a piece of fan mail. Email.
Let's do it.
It's from our buddy Skylar Davis.
Oh, cool. Hey, Skylar.
Yeah. He said, "Hey, Glenn and Jason, as a podcast host, what podcast do y'all listen to regularly, Star Wars focused or not? Thanks."
Oh, God, I don't want to answer this question.
Have we done it before?
No, we haven't answered this question. I mean, we listened to the Disney Dish with Jim Hill and Len Testa, and they have a whole bunch of they have an animation focused podcast that I listen to. They have a Marvel one, and they just opened up looking at Lucasfilm, which they had before with Dan Z.
So they're redoing that one?
They're redoing it with another guy. I try not to listen to too many Star Wars podcasts because I don't want to have something seep in and then I'm accidentally replicating something or thinking it's my thought and not realizing that it was somebody else's thought, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Well, listen to the Office Ladies.
Yeah, Office Ladies. That one's getting more and more annoying. As much as I love it, it feels like Jenna will say something and then Angela repeats it or vice versa, and it's like, ladies, stop doing that. But
I don't like when they go off on tangents and not talk about anything other than The Office.
It's okay if people do that.
I'm glad you got that.
It's okay, Jason. It's okay. People actually say they like that part of our show, Jason.
I need to see it then because I don't trust it until I see it.
Okay.
It's just me versus you right now.
All right, fine.
Hey, if you like the tangents, let us know. I don't want to go too far off the Star Wars path, but if you want us to go into the woods and talk aliens and make myself feel like a fool for 3, 4, or 5 minutes, let us know.
Yeah, please let Jason know you like the tangents. Jesus, who just? Sorry. I should not be scrolling Facebook while I'm talking to you because somebody just posted a bunch of baggies that he found at a yard sale with $10 stickers on them.
Damn.
I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, it's like the guy in our group that found a $25 blue snaggletooth that looked mint.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Or there was another dude that found like a last 17 Ewok and a blue snaggletooth for like $50. And I'm like, and the blue snag is in crap shape, but that's $50 to $100 right there, even in the crappy shape. All right. So back to so you've answered all your.
Also
podcasts.
A Bigfoot podcast.
The Bigfoot podcast.
Bigfoot is down where Jerry lives now. So
yeah, I still
do a Sasquatch run while we're there.
Yeah. We need to talk about that too. But I want to get down there one day, but I don't think November's the right time. I think we need to push it because we got too much stuff going on and with the winter social. But anyway, long story short, I listened, the Office Ladies, the Jim, I did the Disney Dish. I used to listen to a lot more Disney podcast, but it just gets me antsy because I want to go down to Disney and can't. So I try to stay. If I have a Disney trip planned, then I'll ramp those back up just to figure things out. But the Disney Dish kind of gives me, all the Disney news that I want to hear, and then they go into like a segment that gives history. You forgot our other favorite Disney podcast, the Mickey Mutineers.
Oh yes, Mickey Mutineers with Jordan.
That's a cool podcast too because it there's some cursing in it, but it's not family friendly. It's not little kid friendly, but it's a fun podcast. It's funny to hear Jordan curse because I'm not used to hearing him curse. And I'm like, because he calms down when he's on our podcast and stuff.
When in Rome.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fun podcast. Then as far as Star Wars podcast, it's scruffy looking podcasters. They're sort of like a version. This is what it's scruffy looking podcasters and bad motivators, which is what I like modeling this show after, those two podcasts, because it's just a bunch of friends talking crap.
Yep.
I will sometimes listen to Blue Harvest if there's nothing else to listen to. Shoot. I
didn't mention Galaxy of Toys podcast, which is a really good podcast. It's long. They usually release these after Hasbro does a major like reveal. But through a couple events in the past year, I've met quite a few of the podcasters, which is a position I never thought I'd be in, like meeting some of the people that I listen to, which is awesome.
We also forgot our buddy Ted.
Ted, yes. Ted is probably one of the few that I listen to on a regular basis. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're right. The Force, of course. We like that one. I mean, there's other ones out there. There's David Quinn's. I like listening to his.
That goes without saying.
Yeah, he's been on a Hanks tear lately. I think the last he's been, but his stuff's always very well produced and very well thought out. Researched. Where we're more on the fly anyway. I mean, there's
you start talking about aliens. You won't get that on David Quinn's show unless David's talking about Cantina aliens or something.
Right. That's about it. I'm trying to see what else I listen to. I'm very bored. I like sticking to I don't like, I can tell you what I don't like a real polished podcast, so I'm not going to get into those, but I like the ones like us that don't sound polished.
And it's not because of me not trying.
Right.
Really regret the alien talk.
It's all right, Jason. It'll be okay. We'll be fine. Anything you're looking forward to? There's no shows really coming up. There's the Powder Springs show.
Powder Springs is it.
The one in Conyers, December 4th. There's a Conyers toy show.
Really looking forward to the summer social. If you're in the area, we got tons of people coming to it this year.
Yeah. What else? I know there's, I got to figure out the date. Where's my calendar? I moved stuff around on my phone and now I can't find. Oh, the Legion toy shows August 20th, which is in Smyrna. So that's an awesome show. It's a really cool small show. It's in a Legion, and there again, it's one of those shows you can walk around with a beer. So can't argue with that. And then that's it. December 4th is the Conyers toy show, and then we're in first of the year, man. Yay!
Cool. Cool beans.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Do your spiel, Jason.
Oh, we're done?
Are we done? You got anything else?
No, I don't think so. I guess we're done.
Are you looking forward, or is there anything you're trying to find except for the so the micro things that we've been looking into, where's that Slave One? How can I find that Slave One? Do you know?
I think that's just readily available. It's just wherever it shows up. I don't think that's a store exclusive, but I don't know for sure. I probably should make a spreadsheet. Maybe I'll do that next week.
Should we mention? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, the one guy on Facebook, on Instagram, that I don't think he's associated with him, but he's posting.
He's just got a fan channel for the Micro Galaxy Squadron. It's available on Instagram. I really hate the new version of Instagram.
Yeah, I've hated that that's been like that for like a year, where it's not a time thing. It's just whatever they feel like showing you.
Yeah, it's not chronological. It just switched now. So I feel like it's a mixture of Instagram and TikTok, but I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see the people I want to follow. I see all these TikTokers and ads, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Said an old man screaming to the cloud.
Right. No, it is. And yeah, you're right. Because there's times where you're just like, I wish they do it like Facebook does it, where you have like a thing and you could scroll left and right to see the TikTok.
Yeah.
And But what's funny is we were at, now I'm going to go on another tangent, but we were up at the lake house with my in-laws and I'm like, I looked at my wife and I'm like, is your mom watching TikTok? She's like, no, she's watching Reels. I'm like, it's the same thing.
Same thing. I recently quit TikTok because, like I said, I was trying to write. I'm in writer's block. So I found myself getting on TikTok to kill time.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not helping. I need to just push through the writer's block. So I quit TikTok. So I'm not on there right now.
TikTok is just a waste of time because, yeah.
So, yeah, the things that I'm looking for right now apparently is a Jawa and 2 stormtroopers, because there was a sand trooper and a regular stormtrooper in the cantina. Remember, they say, we'll check it out.
Right.
So, thank you. We'll check it out. So, I got to find 2 of those guys. But, and then a Greedo. But Greedo's available at the Power of the Force 2 version Black Series. So I just need to order one from Hasbro. That's not going to be a problem.
Cool.
But yeah, how about you? On the hunt for anything?
Something cool. I don't know. I've spent so much money on stuff lately that what else? I bought something. Now I don't know. I got to calm down and wait for the Cincinnati show and other things. But it's oddball stuff still, dude.
Yeah.
Ceramics. Apparently I've got a hole in my heart that can only be filled by ceramics.
Apparently, I released a new video on YouTube. I think it's the last one I do for a monthly pickup video because they're just not getting any views. But if you're curious about what I picked up in May, because I filmed it in early June and I forgot to edit it, so I just released it. I don't think I'm going to be doing one for June. I had to clean up my room for the party tonight and then the Kennesaw run in a couple of weeks. So I think I'm done with those monthly pickup videos, but check that out.
Yeah.
J-Dub Show.
It's actually a pretty good video.
Yeah. I thought about doing June as Darth Vader in character. Because I have one of those cheapo Darth Vader costumes. And then going through everything. But from the point of view as Darth Vader, I picked up this armorer, which is pretty cool. But the Beskar belongs to us, the Galactic Empire. She shouldn't be, reforging Beskar, like that kind of stuff. But I take a lot of work.
Yeah. I had a proud grandpa moment. We had the grandkids over 4th of July. And I'm like, Riley, what do you want to watch? I looked at my grandson. I'm like, what do you want to watch? And he picks up his tablet and he points to, I want to watch this. And apparently he had a Rebels game. So we watched Rebels for a couple of, yeah. Because I was kind of watching it just in the background. And then he's like, he wanted to keep watching it. So I was like, all right.
That's awesome.
And speaking of which, I got to the point where like Ahsoka shows up and battles the Inquisitors. And they because Kanan and Ezra are getting their butts kicked. This is like in season 2 by the 2 Inquisitors, and like Ahsoka shows up and they do like this great reveal of Ahsoka, and you're just like, this is so much cooler because I know who the hell she is.
Yeah.
So,
well,
anywho.
Thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to your podcast. It really helps us out and points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You could send me the video after this and I'll post it to YouTube. We haven't posted this anything.
Yeah, I think we need to start doing more videos, just like teasers or something.
Okay.
But I need to prepare better. You need to let me know so I can make myself up.
Well, you don't have any hair.
You're right. But I got this. My beard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, send me. Well,
I will do it anyway. I don't
Next
care.
week we'll start uploading to YouTube again.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've heard is we need more videos, because apparently when we say, look at this coffee mug, and we don't say, look at the, we don't show it, people get upset.
Oh, I have a segment then for next week.
Okay.
It's just like fan fights, like who would win in a fight, people that would never face off. So we'll get into that and we'll post that to YouTube.
Okay. Awesome.
Anyway, send us an email or message us. Thank you, Skylar, for doing that this week. We love feedback and we'd love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. You can find him at Puerto Rico Star Wars on Facebook. I think he's launching a new podcast. I think it's in Spanish, though. Rock the Force or something like that.
I think he's had it for a while, but I think he's re-releasing it or
okay.
rebooting it.
So if you speak Espanol, You can listen to that podcast. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the Smuggler's Galaxy music. Hasbro re-released VC66. And while we're at it, re-release more Black Series Cantina patrons. Hashtag vote with your wallet. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.
No more alien talk.
Please email Jason and say y'all like the alien talk and you like the tangents. Because I really enjoy going off on tangents. And Jason doesn't.
Crazy.